Grizzlies fans, happy day after Christmas. This may seem like a little deja vu because just 7 days ago, the Grizzlies played the Pelicans, and it was Mr. Will Guillory who broke the game down with us, and we're doing it again today. The Grizzlies are back in New Orleans taking on the Pelicans at 7 p.m. Central Time. Will, we won the first game with Ja back.
No, I think the real news here is something that you left out, which is that today is not the day after Christmas, it's Boxing Day, which I learned today. So happy Boxing Day to everybody out there.
Yes, to all of our Canadian Grizzlies fans from up in Vancouver, it is Boxing Day. Do some shopping and then get home for the game this evening.
Get home for the game for sure.
Get home for the game. All right. Like I said, this was exactly 1 week ago. The Grizzlies and the Pels battled it out with Ja Morant back in the lineup. Of course, if you don't remember, if you didn't watch that one, you mixed a good one because Ja had the game winner and won that one 115 to 113. The Grizzlies have not lost a game since then. They are 3-0 with Ja back. In each one of those games, the trio of Ja, Jaren, and Dez have scored 20 points each. In all of those season long or season high win streak, 3 in a row. Why do you think the Pels can end it tonight? Or do you?
I think it's probably going to be another close game like they had a week ago. And I think a big part of it is something we talked about that last talk we had was just how much Ja was going to be able to hit the ground running, how much he kind of felt the need to do too much. And he's
Mhm.
really looked like the same job we always seen, like making plays in the paint, getting other guys involved, throwing down alley oops. It doesn't feel like he's missed 25 games. He's playing like regular Ja. And something else we talked about, the fact that he's able to do that allows Desmond Bain to play his natural role. It allows Jaren Jackson to play his natural role. It puts everybody where they're supposed to be, where I felt like everybody was doing a little too much
Mhm.
before. Now everybody's kind of falling back into form. Marcus Smart, who I'm sure we'll talk about, he's coming back, which will help them as well. So yeah, this team looks really good, and we know Ja's dangerous. And if it comes down in the fourth quarter like it did last time, we know Ja is a guy that makes plays, and the Pels have a really tough time dealing with him. So it'll be interesting to see if they try something different than what they did last time.
Speaking of coming down to the wire, they went like in that last, whatever it was, 4 seconds, they went five out and just let Ja go one on one. Was it Herb Jones?
Yes.
Is he still the guy who you think is like the jaw, not jaw stopper, but jaw slower downer today? He has that defensive assignment.
Yeah, for sure. I think he would be that guy against any team because I think they trust Herb that much. And I asked Willie Green about that because Pels fans were kind of upset that they didn't send a double team at
Yeah.
Ja in that moment to force somebody else to take the shot. And I think the Pels just have that much faith in Herb Jones to defend anybody, including Ja. And I think you might see a little bit more Dyson Daniels. I think he had some success against Ja in that last game. He's more of like a guy who can defend point guards, where I think Herb is more of a wing. But yeah, I think they'll throw a little bit of everybody at Ja. I think they're going to try some different defensive schemes just because Ja has so much success for them at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're going to need Herb to have a much better game than he had last time because Ja made it look real easy there in the fourth quarter.
Okay, but let's rewind and go to that second quarter. The Pelicans outscored the Grizzlies 39 to 16. Now, I like to say that Ja is very much like a second half guy. He like really gets going. That was his first game. But the Pelicans destroyed us in that first half. Like it was almost like turn off the TV. And then they obviously made this comeback. Have you seen that a lot? Like with the Pelicans this season? I know like BI was going crazy in that second quarter. Like there was just like spurts of this team that was like, if they get it together for an entire game and play like that, like it's going to be difficult for anyone in the league.
You know what's crazy is I wrote about this not too long ago that the Pels this season are like if you just go by point differential in the first half, they're like a top five team. I think when I wrote it, they were number two in the league in
Mhm.
point differential in the first half, and in the second half, they're a bottom five team. They're like minus 100 something in the second half. For whatever reason, they look amazing in the first half of games, and they come out of halftime. They're a little lackadaisical. They fall behind early in the third quarter, like they did against Memphis, where they were up, close to 20 going into halftime. And
Yeah.
then Memphis got a little run together. They cut it down to 10, gained some confidence, and then it all kind of fell apart from there. And I think that's been a theme with the Pels this year. They kind of lose some steam as the game goes along for whatever reason. And I think that's going to be a big test for them in this game tonight. Because, like you said, Ja performed so well in second halves and fourth quarters in particular. You got to be able to keep that energy going, keep your defense intact, and not allow them to kind of gain momentum the way the Grizzlies did during the course of that game. And I think a big part of it was the Grizzlies were just playing some really good defense in the second half. I think you really saw Jaren really looking like defensive player of the year, Jaren, in that second half. But yeah, the Pels just kind of got to get just more energy, get better shots. They've had a big problem with turning the ball over late in games. So yeah, they just got to be more on point in second halves. And I think going against a team like the Grizzlies, it'll be a good test for them to see if they figure some stuff out.
Yeah, the turnovers has been kind of a storyline for both of these teams, actually. I know um the Pels had 11 turnovers, which the Grizzlies converted into 21 points. And then I think the Pels converted the Grizzlies turnovers into 26 points. So there's 40 something, 47 points off of turnovers for the entire game, which is very, very high. So I think a key for both teams will be taking care of the ball. Um, Two more things before I let you go, because it is Boxing Day after all.
Boxing Day.
One, Marcus Smart has moved up to questionable. And for people who don't know, it goes from like out to doubtful to questionable to probable. And so there is a chance that Marcus Smart plays today, and he changes the defense of this team. He changes the offense as well, of course, playing that three position. But defensively, you saw BI go for 34, you saw CJ go for 18, Zion for 13. How does he help or how does he hinder the Pelicans offense?
I think it'll be interesting how much they use them because they can go to a scheme that they've done in the past. I think we talked about this before back when Dylan Brooks was with the Grizzlies, where they would put one guy in front of Zion and then have Jaren Jackson kind of roaming on the back line
Steph,
as a rim protector.
yeah.
Yeah, and they had a lot of success with that against Zion. And of course, they held him to 13 last time, but I think that's something I'll be keeping an eye on is how much they put Smart on Zion and try to just have a big body on him, make it difficult for him to just kind of get straight to the lane the way he does so often, and having the shot blocker there on the back line. But yeah, I think Smart is just a smart. Smart is a smart player, but no, I think he just makes all the right IQ plays. He gets other people involved. He'll make some plays in transition. I think he's a guy who you trust a little bit more to make those corner threes that Ja opens up so much with his drives to the lane. So yeah, he's going to make this team look much different once he's able to just play and get in the flow with Bane and Ja. And I think he'll be able to change the way they defend some teams. And I think tonight would be a good example how they can defend Zion in a different way than if you had somebody like Vince Williams or Zaire in there.
Yeah, he's just a bigger body.
Yeah.
Okay, to end this off, give me your prediction for top performers from each team. One top performer Grizzly, one top performer Pal.
I mean, we talked about him. I think Ja is always the biggest threat on the Grizzlies, especially against the Pels, just because they don't really have the smaller body to try to stay in front of him, the smaller, quicker guy. They're
Mhm.
going to put bigger guys on him, more length, and I think Ja can kind of take advantage of those matchups at times. And I think, with Z kind of not really making that much of an impact last time around, had a lot of foul trouble. I
Yeah,
want to see if he comes out aggressive. We know the him versus Ja rivalry is always going to be a thing. So I think he wants to show
rivalry.
something. Right. Yeah, we know those guys are boys, but like he saw Ja get all the shine last time with the game winner, telling everybody he kept receipts and whatnot. And I think Zion is going to try to come in, try to make some noise, and remind people that he can have some huge games as well.
All right, easy peasy. John Zion, the rivalry that everyone loves. Two biggest performers.
Yes.
Will, thank you so, so, so very much. Again, I tell you every time, you're my favorite, and I appreciate you a ton.
No, I appreciate you. As soon as we log off, I'm going to unbox some stuff because it's Boxing Day,
Boxing Day. Happy
the
Boxing Day,
day we've
guys.
been
For
waiting
some
for.
Boxing Day basketball.
The best part of Christmas is the day after. Come on now.